Shalom, shalom, akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Chodash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which would be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. Shalom. Shalom, beloved Akiyam and Akwaf. It's just Bayan back again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And I just wanted to get into a brief lesson, speaking to this video that came across my feed a few days ago. Kind of been meditating on it, and as we're witnessing real time, Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, is being called out for all of his heinous crimes. His reign of terror, is finally catching up with him. And as scripture say, inquisition, is being made upon this man now, being that we're at the end of him ruling, man. We're at the end of his blessing. So now he's being called out. He's being questioned. His pseudoscience is being challenged. He's left in a position where his back is against the wall, man. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place. And ultimately, court is in session and the judgment's about to go out. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, because it's ridiculous amounts of information coming out on this guy. Now this video is from some time ago. I'm not sure exactly what year. But again, it's tapping into that inquisition, that will be made on this dude. As a matter of fact, let's start there. Let's go to what is that? Is that here we go. The book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 6. And I'm going to start at verse 17. It reads, "And it happened that when I had heard it, I stood up upon my feet and hearkened. And behold, there was a voice that spake, and the sound of it was like the sound of many waters." And this is talking to Yahweh Shai. All right. Hence, Revelation's the first chapter. His voice, Yahweh Shai's voice, was like a sound of many waters. You know how Jake is. Jake got a cookout. You can hear him down the block. So you can only imagine, our beloved big brother. He has a powerful, masculine voice. But anyways, continuing on. "And it said, Behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth." And we're in that time. We're in that time. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is visiting the earth which he made. Okay? This is why we're seeing all manners of divine intervention take place. We're witnessing, the great awakening of the elect of Israel, coming to his perfection. We're witnessing Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, being revealed in his time. We're witnessing chariot sightings. We're witnessing weathers of biblical proportion, earthquakes in diverse places, man. Signs in the sun, the moon, and in the stars. It's going down, man. Uproars of the people. We here. The tensions of war, World War III. The reality of Revelations 13 and 16. You see? Jacob's trouble. The reality of Jacob's trouble being on the scene. And we here, the Lord's visiting this place, man. You see? Let's go. And we begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness. And when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. So you see this inquisition that will be made upon them that hurt unjustly, which is talking to Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. So upon his inquisition, let's get this word real quick. Let's get this word inquisition real quick.
Inquisition.
Simple Google definition.
Inquisition.
Inquisition, right? And it reads, a period of prolonged and intensive questioning or investigation. All right? Court is in session. Look, interrogation, questioning, quizzing, cross-examination. And this is what we're doing right now. We're cross-examining this dude. Okay? With this clip we got. Right here. We're going to cross-examine him. We're going to tap into the mind of a madman during the time of cattle slavery, man. All right? Oh, look at fact-finding. I like that one. We're fact-finding right now. You see? Which is going to, these facts that we're bringing forth, ultimately, qualify, the testimony, man. Because we're testifying against this dude through the Spirit. You see? Let's go ahead. All right. So yeah, inquisitions being made on them, man. All right, they're being searched out. The light is shining on Esau. All right, and even old information's coming up on him. You see, and even he's in the spirit to bring up old information. You had this dude Pete Hegseth, or whatever his name is, bring up the reality of how, those demonic Edomites that executed the Wounded Knee massacre will be honored, man. Will continue to be honored for what they've done, for what they did. Okay, showing you that the Spirit of the Lord is even working on, these damn demons. Scriptures say that their own tongue will fall upon themselves, man. So they even making an ass out of themselves, man. And pretty much making themselves look guilty for what they've done. Because if anything, they should be sorry for what they did via the Wounded Knee massacre, man. You see, not standing on it like it's some type of victory. You see, but this dude, whereas scriptures say how he, let me go get it. As a matter of fact, I think it's that's Psalm 73. I can't quote it right now, but I know regarding the violence, they wear violence like a chain, I think. There it is. The book of Psalms, chapter 73, and verse 6, and it reads, therefore pride compasseth them, right? Pride compasseth them as a chain. Here it goes. Violence covereth them as a garment. You see? So they rejoice in these things, man. They rejoice in doing evil. You see? There's no remorseful bone in this dude's body, man. But guess what? What you're going to have to go through, all right, you're going to be very regretful. All right, in the times to come, you're going to be very regretful. You got you Edomites crashing out now because you can't find no jobs. Crying, sniffling, slurping, goggling. All right, because you can't find no work. So imagine in the kingdom. My goodness, you're going to have a lot to cry about then. And you're going to be regretful. But it's going to be too late. Hey, all right? The parable of was that Lazarus and the rich man, man. You're not going to get a drop of water on your tongue to quench your thirst, man. No. Let's play this clip.
Hasty, what was life like in those early days?
As far as the colored people were concerned, I feel that they were a good bit happier than they are now. They had less in the way of material things. But I can remember back in the 20s, when I was a small boy, they were always singing at their work. They had a great sense of humor. And now today, they just don't seem to care much about that as they used to. And I think they've lost their sense of somewhat, which I deplore.
What do you think are the differences between the races?
I think there's a refusal to accept responsibility. I think there's a lack of motivation. I've tried here to promote people to foremen, superintendents, but they just refuse to do it. They just don't want the responsibility. They don't worry like the white man. If they have troubles, they go to sleep and wake up the next morning, and that trouble is over.
Is it possible that white people have something to do with the lack of ability for blacks to assimilate into this culture?
Absolutely. The white man has certainly been prejudiced and to quite an extent unfair. But customs die awful hard. It takes a long time, and everyone knew years ago that the Negro would have to be given equality. But in the South, knowing Negroes as we think we do, we realize it would take time. It's been compared to straightening teeth. It takes a slow, steady pressure. You can't do it with a hammer. And white people's attitudes will change in time. I'm a lot more liberal than I was 5 years ago, and I know I'll be a lot more liberal 5 years from now, and I think almost everyone else is in that category.
What has tended to make you more liberal?
Well, realization that the Negro is a human being like anyone else.
Mr. Hasty, what did you think we were before you began to think of us as human beings?
Well, in a way, we thought of you almost as a very superior pet. Something, or rather someone, we had to take care of, because we had to do so much of their thinking for them. We had to do almost everything for them except living their own lives. Anything outside, we had to do for them.
So
And that's prophecy. Okay? And you heard what he said, right? He said they looked at us as superior pets. That's how they looked at the brothers, man. They looked at them as superior pets, man. You don't think they look at us like that now? Hence why Jake is still on the record as 3/5 of a man. Okay? But for your violence against your brother Jacob, shame shall cover you, man. And you heard and so already covering you. All right, shame is speaking volumes right now, real time. And you heard what he said towards the end there. That he has to what? They have to what? Do everything for them. But live their lives. They had to do absolutely everything for them. Here it is. You steal the people. All right. From the Eastern Hemisphere. All right. Shove them and stuff them in cargo slave ships. Separate them from their families. Sail them over here within a year and a half. Now, they didn't see their loved ones, either they were separated from them or see them die off during a voyage. You know, they were seeing people they knew getting eaten by great white sharks, being that they were thrown out overboard. All right, they were seeing people individuals get beat to death. All right, teeth knocked out of their mouth to force feed them. All right, all types of other heinous crimes taking place on this ship on the way over here. All right, you get them over here. Right, then you in the process of trying to assimilate them to your culture and to your ways. All right, you beat them, you hang them, you burn them. All right, they don't know. They can't even communicate with you, man. All right, Jake was speaking Hebrew when he came over here. You see? But again, it's prophecy that the situation will be the way it is, as far as him saying we had to do everything for them but live their lives. And when you go to real quick, that's prophecy, man. When you go to Proverbs, Deuteronomy 28, you know he's a demonic devil. You see him? My goodness. You know he's the thumbnail. Deuteronomy 28 and 48, and it reads, Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness. See? And in want of all things. You see that? Prophecy, man. That was the reality of the situation. And the scriptures bring it out. Yo, bro. Man. The Bible is alive and well. This is a living book for you unbelievers out there, man. Okay? Exactly what that man said in that clip. All right? It's written in the scriptures that would be. It was prophesied already that would be the case. As a matter of fact, let's hear him again.
One we had to take care of because we had to do so much of their thinking for them. We had to do almost everything for them that, except living their own lives. Anything outside, we had to do for them.
Right. And this is why. Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord Yahweh shall send against thee. Okay? So he sent Esau against us, man. Look at in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. Right? And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee, man. All right, look at the validity and the power in these scriptures, man. This was already written before it even happened. Yeah, Vocab Malone. This is why we go to Deuteronomy 28. All right? To bring clarity to who the true biblical Israel, to who the true Hebrew Israelites are in the Bible. Oh, yeah, we know you hate it. All right, we know you don't want us to bring it up because it makes it make sense. Okay, it makes it make sense. And when you look at it for what it is, you can't make it make sense for you small hats. All right? Now what I did, right? I went to the comments, right, real quick. Damon. Now I went to the comments, right? Check this out, right? We can read this first one from Dionatir. Right? Being called lazy by a group of people who stole and tortured another group of people so they themselves didn't have to work is peak irony and hypocrisy, right? Scriptures speak about how this dude is a complete hypocrite, man. Right? Let's get it real quick. Job 20 and 4, and it reads, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment, man. All right, we know the wicked to be Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, pursuant to Malachi, the first chapter, man. You see? Scripture's telling us what? The joy of the hypocrites but for a moment, man. All right, you're not going to be able to continue, right, to be in a position where you can look down on Jake, right, and make it seem as if you're superior to the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American man. No, man. You're actually inferior, man. All right, you were taught how to conduct yourself, okay, when you got your ass out, when you climbed out of them caves, man. You were taught, you were brought back to health, okay, by the Native Americans when you came over here. All right, when you descended upon us Native Americans, man. Back in the 1400s, man, 1400s. You see? Or 1500s, rather. All right? You were taught how to be civilized. But you don't bring up none of that history, though. And you want to dry it up as if you're this benevolent, perfect creature, which couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth, man. Okay? It couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. Let's go back to these comments. Kathy, with AK, I guess it says. She said, imagine the fortitude of the interviewer when listening to the answers. He deserves an award. He does. Right? Oh, watch what somebody else says about the interviewer. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Andrew Brett, right? 9421 says this. That interviewer has the patience of a saint. And that's the spirit. Because guess what? He is one. All right, if you know who the saints are the Israelites. Okay? And he will be coined as a so-called black man. Right? He stems from the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. If you ask me, he's a Judite. Okay? Which would make him an Israelite. Which would make him a what? A saint. And you can simply prove that when you go to Psalms 50. Right? Psalms 50 and 5. Gather my saints together unto me. Right? Those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice, man. And that covenant was made in Exodus, the 24th chapter. That covenant by sacrifice, man. All right? When Moses and Aaron, made the pillar, right? With the 12 tribes of Israel there. Right? And ultimately ended up sprinkling the blood on them. And they said everything that you said we would in the book we would do. All right? It was consummated by that blood. Right? But we broke it. We broke the covenant. Hence why we went through what we went through. And why we're still going through what we're going through. You see? So I found that heavily spiritual because ultimately, he is a saint. Unbeknownst to Kathy. What was her name? Not Kathy. Let me see here. Andrew. He is a saint. You see? He's a Jake. All right, he's a Jake. And guess what? That's an Edomite. All right? This is Esau Edom right here. All right? And you people got hell to pay. Okay? Yahweh Bashim Yahushua didn't forget what you've done to the apple of his eye, man. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is going to come serve you a cold plate of judgment. Let's close out with this. The book of Amos, chapter 1, and verse 11, and it reads, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, right, and 3 goes into understanding, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, and 4 goes into mercy, which you're not going to receive. All right, pursuant to the Zondervan Bible Compact Dictionary, man. Under Edom, you're the only neighbor of the Israelites that was promised no mercy, man, from our power. Because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Hence, the ICE smear campaign, man. You see the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the face of this ICE campaign, man. Of this deportation shenanigans, man. Because this is Esau keeping his wrath forever. And ultimately, he wants to get his hands on the elect, that remnant. Right? Those that walk in obedience to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That's what he's gunning for, ultimately. But what did Yahweh Bashim Yahushai say? Touch not my anointed, and do my prophets no harm, man. You see, there's a price to pay when you start touching the elect. Amos 1 and 12, and it reads, But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces, of Basra, man. Teman being the modern day Germans, the Edomites. You see? Basra will be likened unto America in real time, being that it was the capital city of Edom. And we know Esau is Edom, pursuant to Genesis 36. All right, so when you look at this with a spiritual overtone, this is talking to that end time deletion the Lord is going to bring upon Babylon the Great. Okay? He's going to send fire upon Teman, man, which shall devour the palaces of Basra, man. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai didn't forget, devil. Your time has come. The time that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai will visit thee. Shalom.